everyone, my name is Josie. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I realised the other day that I have been knitting now for pretty much 6 solid months. I started at the beginning of January and I've been knitting a lot of things in that time. So I thought it would maybe be fun to tier rank every single knitting project that I've made in the last 6 months. I'm only going to be including projects that I've actually finished, and I will also be including any gift knits that I did. So I'll be ranking these based on 4 kind of categories. The first one was how fun was the pattern to knit. The second is how well did my yarn choices fit with the pattern and whether I enjoyed the yarn. How much did I learn from knitting this? Because at the moment I'm just trying to learn as much as possible, so I felt like that's quite an important one to include. And then how much do I actually wear it? How much do I enjoy wearing it? Or how much do I enjoy using it? Because there are a couple of things that are actually not garments, and I'll get to that in a bit. So I have my tier ranking here. Let's start from the top. Dream project. Dream project is basically an ideal project. The yarn was perfect, the pattern was perfect, and I learned a lot, and also I wear it all the time or use it all the time. Something that I would probably knit again, and just something that in my eyes was like a 10 out of 10. The next one is good but not great. I feel like these ones probably will miss like one of the categories or something went slightly wrong, but overall I'm still happy with it. The next one is meh, which kind of speaks for itself. Basically, it's just not perfect. I can still wear it, but I'm not loving it, and it's just a bit meh. And the final one, in honour of Lord's new album coming out, is What Was That? Which is, what the hell was this project? Why did I do it? Why did I attempt it? I regret it. I wish I never even started it. And basically, what was that? So in the last 6 months, I have done 9 projects, which I was quite surprised at. I'm going to go in chronological order because that just makes sense to my brain. The first one is the Step by Step sweater by Florence Miller. This is the very first sweater that I ever knit, and I knit it in Drops Nepal in the colour beige mix. So let's go through the categories. How fun was this to knit? I think this was very, very fun to knit. It was the first thing that I properly ever knitted, like the first pattern that I ever fully followed from start to finish. And so it was very fun to just learn all of these different things and just see the sweater appearing before my very eyes. And it was kind of mind blowing. And I still just remember like the excitement that I felt when I'd finally finished it. It was just the best feeling ever. So definitely 10 out of 10 points for how fun was it to knit. How well did the yarn choices fit with the pattern? Now this one was the Drops Nepal was the recommended yarn for this sweater, but I would say that over time I've had to depill this quite a lot because I've worn this sweater a lot, especially in winter. I was wearing this like almost every day, and I think it did start to get a bit bobbly. And I think it's because it is an alpaca yarn. It's very soft, and I've since heard that the softer the yarn, the more likely it is to pill, and I've definitely seen that with this yarn. I would still say it's a really nice yarn. Like, it's very soft. I've had no issues with anything else. Like, it's not itchy on my skin. I find it very soft and cozy. But I think overall, if I did this again, I would probably pick a less pilly yarn. How much did I learn from knitting this? So much. This was a raglan, so I learned how to do raglans. I learned how to do ribbing for the neckline. I learned just general construction ideas and picking up for the sleeves and all things like that, and the Italian bind off I learned as well. So I've learned so much on this. So much of what I have gone on to knit has just been knowledge that I have learned from this very first pattern. So if you are a new knitter, I would definitely recommend the Step by Step sweater. On the other hand, I didn't do the more advanced. So in the pattern, there's like different stages, different levels. You can do stripes, and you can also add German short rows in the back to make the back longer and to make the whole thing fit a little bit better. And because it was my first project, I was a bit scared of German short rows. They sounded scary, so I didn't actually do them. So I guess kind of losing some points there. And then how much do I enjoy wearing it? Loads. I love this. I wear it all the time, but I do sometimes wish that I had added the German short rows, because I'd feel like it would just be good if the neckline would just tilt this way slightly, because it does sometimes like slightly choke me. I feel like I probably just enjoy it a little bit more if it had a very clear front and back and if it had those short rows in there. So maybe it's lost a few points for that. So I think overall, going to my tier ranking, I would love to call it my dream project, but I don't think anyone's first project is going to be their dream project. So I think I'm going to put this in good but not great. I love it, and obviously I will just treasure it forever because it's my first sweater that I've made, but there's definitely a few things that I would change going forward. The next one was my weekend slipover by Petite Knit. I knitted this in Ramagan Favel in the shade 190, and I paired it with Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the colour Dusty Artichoke, which they just have the best names for their colours. It made this lovely green colour. I really loved how it looked. So how fun was the pattern to knit? I would say it was really fun. I learned a lot, but it wasn't the easiest. I guess there was a lot of focusing on increases and decreases, so I don't know whether that is fun necessarily. I think it was kind of like challenging, but maybe in a good way. So I would say maybe like an 8 out of 10 for how fun it was to knit. I guess it gains points for being fun because you don't have to knit sleeves because it's a slipover, so that was pretty good. So I actually finished this quite quickly. How well did the yarn choices fit with the pattern? I think actually really well. And even though this was only my second pattern, I was brave and didn't go with the suggested yarn for the pattern because it was just kind of hard to find the yarn that is suggested. The suggested yarn is Hensvagsgarn by Heiholtz Uldspineri. And as you can probably guess by my terrible pronunciation, it's not very easily accessible in the UK. So I went on Yarn Sub and I tried to find a yarn that was like similar, and I came across Ramagan Favel, and I really like this yarn. It's definitely squishy and the colour range is really good. The only issue is it's a little bit itchy, which actually isn't a problem for the slipover because I'm usually almost always wearing things over the top, and I am not very sensitive to itchiness. I can deal with it, so it didn't bother me too much. But I would probably say if I did this again, I would maybe try and pick a slightly softer yarn. But the benefit of it being slightly more like rustic hard wearing is that it hasn't pilled at all. I've worn this slipover quite a lot and it has not pilled. It looks just as good as the day that I got it, so that is really great. How much did I learn from knitting this? So much. I learned the centre double decrease to make that little line down the middle of the V, which was really fun to learn. I learned a lot more about increases and decreases, picking up edges, and also like holding yarn double, which I guess is not that hard to learn, but I'd never really understood how it worked. I thought I'd get my yarn all tangled up, but it was actually not that bad. And then how much do I enjoy wearing it? I really enjoy wearing this. I probably don't wear it as much as the other sweaters that I've knitted, just because I guess with a slipover you kind of have to have the right weather conditions to be wearing it. If it's too hot, it's still too hot, but if it's cold, if it's really really cold outside, then it might not keep you quite warm enough, so you kind of only can wear it in like the spring or the autumn, which is fine. But I guess recently it's been quite hot here in the UK, so I haven't been wearing it as much. So overall, I'm struggling now because I feel like it is almost a dream project, but there's just a few things that are just not getting me exactly where I need to be. So I think it's going to be above the Step by Step sweater because it is almost perfect, which is not quite. The next one is the Lakes Pullover by Ozetta. I think this is one of the patterns that made me really excited about wanting to knit because I'm obsessed with Barbar, the brand. They're like a Spanish knitwear brand, and I own one of their sweaters. They're really, really expensive, but they're so beautiful. And when I saw the Lake Slipover, it looked really similar to a Barbar sweater that I'd been wanting to buy for years. So I was like, hang on a minute, I can just knit myself a Barbar sweater. And so that was what got me really excited about knitting. So once I'd like done a few more simple projects, I was like, I just need to knit this because this is just what's making me so excited about knitting. And it's a saddle shoulder construction, and I knit this one in the yarn called Gilliat by De Raurum Natura, which is a French brand, and it is beautiful wool. It is quite rustic but still soft. It's honestly one of the one of my most favourite yarns that I've worked with so far. It is so squishy and maybe a tiny bit itchy, but honestly I still find it really, really soft and cozy. And it just has that rusticness to it that means that it really doesn't pill that much at all. How fun was this pattern to knit? Very fun. You start off by knitting the saddles and then you connect them together and do the back piece, and then you knit down, and then there's quite a lot of German short rows involved to shape the shoulders, and it's very, very smart. The pattern is so well designed, and I can feel that in the way that it fits me. It fits me so well. I knitted this in one size up. I knitted it in size large when I should have really been a medium, but I'm really happy that I did. I think because I'm on the larger end of the medium scale, and when I want something to be oversized, I usually just go one size up, and I think that works well for me most of the time. This one knitted up kind of quickly, not really though. It felt like the body went on for quite a while, but it was kind of fun to just like knit in the round for ages. I guess that's always the problem with sweaters. Once you get to the body, it gets a bit long. I feel like I was going to a lot of places. I went to Berlin and then I went to somewhere else, and this project kind of was in between all of those things, so it wasn't like the quickest, but it was really fun to like learn all these different things, and I really enjoyed it. Speaking of that, I definitely learned a lot in this project. I feel like I got the hang of German short rows, and just learning the saddle construction was really fun, and like picking up stitches in different ways. And I also learned the double folded collar for the first time, so that was really good. And how much I enjoy using it when it's cold enough outside to be able to wear it. I wear this all the time. It's probably the most worn thing that I've knit so far, maybe tying in for second place with the Step by Step sweater. I guess I've kind of had them the longest, so maybe that would make sense, but they're just really good basic sweaters, and this one in particular, I just love it because it just makes me feel proud that I've managed to do the saddle shoulder construction, and it feels kind of a little bit more dressy, like even though it's just putting on a really comfy sweater, I think something about the saddle shoulder just makes it feel a lot more put together and a bit more polished, and like you've kind of made a bit of an effort even though you're basically wearing a really, really comfy jumper. It basically feels like a sweatshirt, but something about it is just a little bit more polished. And so I think I'm going to put this in Dream Project. This was just perfect. Like the yarn was great, the pattern was great, really well explained. It had like little drawings of things to kind of explain and like visually understand what you were doing. And I just absolutely love this. I really want to knit something else from Ozetta. She is really good at writing patterns and she's quite a genius, to be honest. So yeah, this was a dream project and definitely would knit again. She has like a Lakes cardigan V-neck version I'm quite intrigued about knitting, but I feel like that's going to be something for another day because I've already done the saddle shoulder thing, so I don't really need to do it again anytime soon, but definitely in the future I would like to at some point do the Lakes cardigan. So the next thing was basically my friend was getting married and I wanted to knit something for her hen do, and I saw the Petite Knit December bow and I thought, why don't I just knit a bow that she can wear in her hair as like a little, you know how like when you're on your hen do, brides sometimes have those like veil things in, and I thought maybe she could have a little bow in her hair. So I had some soft silk mohair lying around and I had some cotton yarn, very cheap cotton yarn that I bought from Sawston Green, which is near my house, and I just thought normally you wouldn't combine cotton with soft silk mohair because why would you do that? It's like a summer yarn and a winter yarn mixed together, but because it was for a bow, it was fine. I really hated the knitting with the cotton yarn. It was really hard on my hands. It was on 3.5mm needles, so it was quite a small gauge. It was quite fiddly, and it was the first time I'd done an I-cord edge, which was a really good thing to learn and definitely opened my eyes to I-cords, which was good. But it just wasn't that fun to knit. I was kind of stress knitting it because I needed to knit it in time. This was the first thing I'd ever knitted as a gift. I think the yarn choices were fine. I think maybe I shouldn't have added a strand of pink because I added pink mohair into it, and I think that made it look almost like a baby thing rather than like a bride thing. I think I should have stuck to all white, but I had done like white cotton and added one strand of pink mohair in, which I thought would be cool, but it ended up, I think that combined with the garter stitch made it kind of look like a baby thing. And when my friend opened it, she was like, I thought you were telling me that you were pregnant, because it looked like something from like a baby would wear. Something about the garter stitch can sometimes look a bit like something babies wear, I don't know why. And the other problem with it was that it didn't stay in my friend's hair. It was like the clip that I had attached to the back wasn't sturdy enough. I needed like a much more substantial clip. I just bought these cheap clips that I found from Sluston Green, and I think it really needed like a proper, like almost like bulldog clip type thing, or like a proper like strong clip, but instead it was just like a sort of flimsy like hair clip. And yeah, it didn't stay in her hair, and so then she had to just wear it on the front of her, like attached to her dress, for like, because she had a belt buckle and she attached it to that, so then she just had to walk around wearing this weird like knitted bow thing for the hen do. And yeah, I mean, it was funny, it made everyone laugh, but I'm gonna put it in what was that, because what was that? It was just weird, and people don't really need knitted bows for their hair. It's a bit random, and yeah, probably would work well as like a Christmas decoration or something. I think it initially was like designed for that, to like hang up in your house, but then she also said like how you can attach it with a hair clip as well. But if it would have stayed up on the back of your head, it would have probably looked cool, and it did look quite cool once I could get it in my hair, but it was very difficult to make it stay put. And yeah, what was that? Honestly. The next one was the Haze sweater, which was my first ever colour work project. This is a really great pattern by the Knit Pearl girl. She made this a free pattern a couple of years back, and I thought it would be a good one to kind of practice, because I could look at the charts and like figure out if it was something for me. I did really like the pattern. It's a great pattern, so well explained. I love the way that the Knit Pearl girl writes her patterns. She writes like really sort of friendly, like you feel like your friend is there to like help you along. And yeah, it was so fun to knit. Knitting the yoke was so addictive. I was obsessed with knitting it. I think I knit the yoke in a weekend because it was just so addictive. Like I just wanted to get to the next row. For this, I learned how to knit with two hands, like holding one strand in my right hand and one strand in my left hand. But the thing that brought this down quite a bit was my yarn choices. I used this yarn called Wool by Happy Sheep that I found on the hobby website. It was discounted because they were going to discontinue the wool, and so it was really cheap. It was like £30 or something for all of this yarn, and I've still got loads of it left, which it's kind of annoying actually, because I really didn't enjoy the yarn. It was very splitty, very like dry feeling, and it kept coming apart, like it kept just breaking. There were quite a few times when it just broke and I had to like splice it back together, especially when I was doing the Italian bind off. I think it broke about 2 or 3 times, and the final result is quite tight and stiff. It doesn't have very good drape. I have blocked it, and that helped a tiny bit, but honestly it's still very stiff. I finished this as it was getting into spring, and so I haven't really had a chance to wear it in like the deep of winter. It's very, very warm, and I think I need to wait until next winter to give it like a final verdict of how much I'm going to wear it, because at the moment we're having a heat wave here in the UK. It's really, really hot. There's no way I can wear this, and so I'm just going to have to wait until it gets a bit colder to give my final verdict on that. But from the few times that I have worn it, it is just a bit too stiff. It's such a shame because the pattern is so great. I just feel like the yarn is really, really letting it down, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to put it in meh just because of the yarn and how little I've worn it so far. It's really sad because I love the pattern. The Knit Pearl girl is a genius, and I also added like these little design details that I designed myself onto the cuffs and things, and I really, really love the sweater. I just don't like the yarn, so unfortunately it's gonna have to go in meh. But I did learn so much. I'm really excited to do more colour work projects now. I feel a lot more confident about colour work now that I've done this project. So it definitely wasn't a waste of time, and I really loved knitting it. I just wish the yarn wasn't so bad. The next one is the Light Loop Sweater by Other Loops. This one was quite a quick knit, which made it really fun. It was on 7mm needles, and used one or two strands of lace weight yarn. So it's quite transparent and very sort of flowy and see-through. I used Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the colour Unicorn Purple, and I love this colour. I feel like this colour is my perfect colour. It's the colour that my Bar sweater that I was talking about earlier is in as well. So I loved that about it, and it was really fun to knit. It has a few German short rows and it's a raglan, but apart from that it's pretty much just knitting and it's nothing too crazy. The pattern just says bind off and doesn't specify how, so I use that as a chance to add a little I-cord bind off, which was really fun to do. I'm obsessed with I-cords, they're really fun and they look really cool as well, so I want to be adding more I-cords to things, and they're quite quick as well compared to an Italian bind off. An I-cord bind off is very quick, so I enjoyed that about it as well. It was really fun, and it was fun to kind of learn. I feel like I had a few issues with joining the two ends of the I-cord bind off, so definitely got more to learn with that, I think, and especially in this pattern it's quite unforgiving if you make a mistake because it's like transparent and you can't really hide your mistakes behind the back of the work because it is see-through. So that's one thing to bear in mind with this pattern. I wear this a lot. I haven't been wearing it in the last few weeks because it's a heat wave here in the UK, but I have been wearing it a lot. It's really good for spring. It's kind of it definitely keeps you warm, even though it's quite transparent. It's warmer than you would think, but it does allow a bit of airflow in, so it's not quite as hot as some like proper wool thick sweaters can be. So I find it quite versatile because I do overheat quite easily. Like I'm quite hot right now as I'm filming this because the sun has come back out and I can't put the aircon on because you can hear it on the microphone. All of that is to say that I love the Light Loop sweater, and I think it's gonna have to go maybe in Dream Project. Let's do it. It was a dream. It was so quick, so easy, and I wear this all the time, and I just love how soft and silky it is, and I love the yarn. But still, I don't think it's going to trump the Lakes Pullover because that is like so far my favourite sweater, I think. The next one is another gift knit that I did for my sister's birthday. This is a teapot cozy knitting pattern, and I found this as a random free pattern on this website called Handy Little Me, which was quite fun. You can pay if you want the PDF version, but I was being a bit of a cheapskate and just did the free version from the website. But it's a really good pattern. It's quite simple. In terms of fun, I wouldn't say it was that fun to knit, just because it's basically two squares that you then seam the corners together, and then you have the spout sticking out of one end and the handles out of the other end. I also just don't think I'm a gift knitter. I really I want to be a gift knitter. I want to be someone who knits for other people, but I think I'm just a bit too... I think I just love wearing my knits so much that when I'm knitting something that I know I'm going to give to someone else, I'm just like not as excited by it. It's just not as fun. It feels a bit like a chore because I'm not getting something in the end. And I know some people say that that's selfish, but I feel like it's just, that's how I like to enjoy my hobby. I'm the one putting all the time and effort in, so I should get to enjoy the nice clothes that I get out of it. There were parts of this that I enjoyed. Obviously learning cables, that was really fun, and I have since gone on to do a few more cable things, so it was a really good first cable project. And the yarn I used for this was Drops Air, and I really liked Drops Air. I think I'll use Drops Air again for some things. I know it's quite a popular yarn. I've not really dabbled in it too much. If I want a yarn on the cheaper end of the spectrum, I think this is a really good one. It's really soft and bouncy, and obviously I can't really report on the wear of it because it's not in a garment and it's in a tea cozy. How much did I learn from knitting this? I learned a little bit. I learned cables and I learned how to make a pom-pom, although I really didn't enjoy making the pom-pom, and I thought it would be easy because I feel like pom-poms are something we all made as kids, but I was like stressing because it was like the last day and I had to give it to my sister for her birthday. I was stressing making this pom-pom, and I made the little card thing that you have to use to like make it. I made it all wrong and then had to do it again, and by the end of it the whole house was like covered in bits of yarn and pom-poms, and yeah, so I think I'm gonna put this in meh. It was a bit meh because it was just a bit stressful and because it was a gift knit. Yeah, I like the end result, it looks nice, but yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to go near the bottom, which isn't surprising because I really don't love gift knits, clearly. The next one is my Plot Twist Tank by Jamie Creates, which was a test knit, and I finished this while I was on holiday in Italy, so I'll always remember my Italy holiday whenever I wear this knit. This pattern was really, really fun to knit. It was part of a test knit, as I said, and because it was part of a test knit, I feel like that made it extra fun because everyone was sort of sharing their own experiences in the group chat. Everyone was being really friendly and nice and encouraging, so that made it a lot more fun. And also just doing the cables was so fun, like seeing them come to life was quite addictive. The yarn that I used for this was Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the shade Dusty Banana. I really like this yarn. It's, even though it's cotton, I think having the merino in there makes it a lot easier on my hands than the cotton that I'd used for the December bow. It basically just felt like knitting with wool, really. I learned a lot knitting this, especially cables. I feel like I really understand cables now in a way that I didn't before, and I am currently knitting a cable sweater, and I feel like all the things I learned from this test knit, I am now applying that to my cable sweater and I'm loving it. I'm obsessed with cables. And then how much do I enjoy wearing it? I think because it is quite a cropped tank and I'm quite tall, I think I probably should have added a little bit more length to it. I can pretty much only wear it with high-waisted things, which I do have a lot of high-waisted things, but sometimes it just stops me from wearing it with certain jeans because they're a little bit too low rise and it is quite high. So that is the only thing with the wearability. And also around the armholes, I think I have quite big shoulders, so it is a tiny bit tight around the armholes, but it's still totally wearable. But maybe if I did it again, I think I would increase the length of the strap a little bit more. So those are just a few minor niggles with it, but I've definitely still been wearing it quite a lot, especially because it's been really hot here lately, so I just want to wear all of my summer knits. I'm going to put this in the second category. I really did enjoy it, but I think it's just gonna have to go behind some of my other things that I just love more. I love all of these, but these just, you know, we have to put these things somewhere and it's really hard. But I'm gonna put it there. And then the final thing I have is what I'm currently wearing. It's my Soul Top by Rose Knitwear, and I love this. Maybe I'm just biased because I only recently finished it, but I've been wearing this so much, like to the point where I need to wear something else because it's kind of embarrassing how much I've been wearing this. Everyone's like, love your top, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I wore that last time I saw you. But I don't care, it's just so good and it's really nice and cool for the hot weather. Like, it's boiling in here right now, but I'm not overheating too much. I knit this in Sadness Garn Tin Lean that I held double. The yarn calls for a DK weight, but you can also hold 2 fingering weight yarns double. This was really fun to knit. It knit up really quickly. It was my first ever bottom up knit and I actually quite liked doing the bottom up knit. I've gone into a lot more detail about this in my recent podcast episode. And then how well did the yarn choices fit with the pattern? Really well. I really love the drapiness of this. I've heard some people say that it's actually drapier if you use 2 strands of Tin Lean rather than just the lean by itself, which is the bigger version of this. I don't know if that's true, but all I can say is it's really drapey, really flowy. It's so soft as well. It's just so comfortable to wear. Like, I just don't want to take it off. It's so good. I love it. How much did I learn from knitting this? I learned bottom up and I definitely kind of struggled with picking up. It's like got a double knitted, it's all double knitted all around the strap and across the front, and it was kind of hard to do the double knitting connection on a cast on edge around the strap, so that was a bit of a challenge, but I think in the end it kind of taught me that even if I'm finding something a bit tricky, I can get there in the end, so that was good to learn. I also learned about stripes and doing jogless stripes in the round, so I'm gonna put this in Dream Project. It was a dream. I'm actually gonna put this second. Maybe it's just like recency bias, but I really, really love this top and I'm so excited to knit more things from the Rose Knitwear book. So let's do a final review, see if I'm happy with how things are sitting. I'm surprised that the Step by Step sweater is there. I feel like I need to increase that because I wear it all the time. So I'm actually going to put that above the Stockholm slipover, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty good about that ranking. I feel a bit sad that the plot twist tank is all the way down there because I really love it, but I just love all of these projects so much that it's really hard to like rank them. Looking at it, I think it's pretty clear that I'm not enjoying gift knitting because the two things that are at the bottom are my gift knits. So yeah, hopefully this was fun. It was a little bit of a review of my last 6 months of knitting, and let me know what you're working on at the moment. I would love to know, and let me know if you like this kind of video because I have a few more ideas for other things that I could tier rank, but let me know. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.